So there are some Trump administration officials that are feeling a little bit bitter about the treatment that they're receiving from fellow Americans when they venture out in public, whether or not they're going to the store or going to a restaurant. I mean, you can think of a lot of different examples that have recently happened. Scott Pruitt, who was told while he was having dinner to resign, and hey, like the next day he actually resigned. Maybe a coincidence, maybe not. But a lot of these Trump officials have been challenged in public by protesters and people who just don't like what the administration is doing. So now, in a lengthy Washington Post story about this phenomenon that is happening around Washington, Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway recently revealed that somebody told her that she should be ashamed of herself while she was shopping at a grocery store. Hey, Kellyanne Conway, you should be ashamed of yourself for continuing to perpetuate lies on behalf of the administration. So, look, hey, fair is fair. There's no violence involved. If you want to say, hey, Kellyanne Conway, you should be ashamed of yourself or you suck at your job, that's something to be expected of being a public official, right? Fame has its price. Or should I say infamy has its price. So now she told the Post, quote, what am I going to do? Fall apart in the canned vegetable aisle? Well, I mean, if you want to, that's up to you, really. I don't care either way. It's just people using their free speech to tell you what they think about you and your actions. That is the essence of free speech. But anyway, she's not the only one that has faced this. As I mentioned before, Scott Pruitt, somebody calmly asked him, to, hey, resign because what you're doing is you're hurting the environment. I got kids, and they're going to grow up in a world where we have less regulations and stuff. Not to mention you're corrupt. You spent $1,500 on tactical pants. Get out of here, please. And it was respectful as you can be, asking someone to resign. That's good, right? The one thing that we don't want is violence or anything that could be construed as incitement to violence. That's something that the other side does fairly regularly, and I think that's been documented quite a bit during this administration and in other administrations as well. So now, another thing that happened was Stephen Miller. And this is fun. Now, Stephen Miller found himself getting cursed out by a bartender at a sushi bar. Well, that's interesting. Didn't we all think that Stephen Miller, ate babies or something? No, apparently he likes sushi. A lot of people like sushi. And I'm kidding about the babies, obviously. Now, here's his response. And this was great. His response, Miller had thrown away $80 worth of takeout sushi he had just bought from the restaurant. You guys are so mean to me. I'm going to throw away my sushi. You just spent $80 on sushi and then you threw it away. Congratulations. You're also an idiot. Who's, again, okay, maybe I'm being too judgmental on this one, but who spends $80 on sushi? I understand, but look, regular working people don't necessarily spend that much on sushi, and I realize that it is expensive, so maybe I'm just digging myself a hole, but as a working class or, regular American person, I don't live on the coast, I don't live in Washington, I don't think I would spend $80 on takeout sushi. I'm just saying. And it's probably because I don't have $80 to spend on takeout sushi. And I certainly wouldn't throw it away. But then again, maybe that's the smart thing to do because you never know what that guy probably did to Stephen Miller sushi. To be fair. But that's hilarious. Now, I want to go to a quote here from the article. This is from Anthony Scaramucci, who worked in the administration approximately 10 minutes. Now, he said that this treatment weighs on Trump White House officials. Quote, I would say it's burning people out. Really? Not the constant lying? That doesn't burn people out? The lies on top of lies and top of lies to where you're essentially setting up a house of cards or Jenga where you're pulling all the blocks from the bottom so it all falls over. That doesn't bother you at all. But what bothers you is some people are mean to me in the grocery store. Okay, man, whatever. Now he says, I just think there's so much meanness. It's causing some level of, what do I need this for? And I think it's a recruiting speed bump for the administration. To be part of it, you've got to deal with the incoming of some of this viciousness. So vicious. So vicious. Oh, terrible what is happening to you. Can I go back to the sushi thing for just a second? I had a thought. $80 sushi, okay, that makes sense. I know I can't believe I'm going back to this, but okay, I guess that makes sense because at least it's high quality. At least you know it. I wouldn't suggest eating gas station sushi either. Okay, you might want to stay away from that. So just to make myself clear. But anyway, so back to Anthony Scaramucci talking about how the administration officials are just facing such viciousness. And we've never seen that before. Oh, really? Nobody has ever seen that before. What about the Obama years? The 8 years before Donald Trump, in which Republicans were incredibly vicious towards anybody in the administration. So, for example, while you're talking about being mean, right? People being mean to you in your fancy sushi bar, we have families right now that are being torn apart. And that's what's going on right now. I'll get to what happened earlier, before this administration happened. But look, what's going on is they're worried about people being mean, whereas we're worried about children who haven't seen their parents in over 80 days, who don't even know where their kids are at, who are not going to be reunited with their families, thanks to the zero tolerance policy implemented by the Trump administration. So, Kellyanne Conway, Anthony Scaramucci, Stephen Miller, you guys want to save us your crocodile tears, okay? Because somebody was mean to you. You don't care. I mean, these guys, they're snowflakes. Do you need a safe space? Is that what you need? Kellyanne, is that what you need? Stephen, you're going to get mad and throw sushi? I mean, seriously. This is coming from the side that basically their mantra was, fuck your feelings. How about fuck your feelings? Because we don't give a shit anymore. So, but anyway, what they did to the previous administration, it kind of shows you, right? The hypocrisy. For 8 years and likely longer, these are the people that were the most vicious towards the American people who voted for the first black president. And then, of course, to said black president. Not on policy, which, look, the Obama administration has done terrible policy. We've called them out for that, right? And the reason that I was tough on the Obama administration, a lot of independent media outlets from the left were incredibly tough in the Obama administration, is because he continued corporate-sponsored neoliberal policy. That was our beef, where he campaigned as a progressive and governed as someone who was center to center right. Not because he was black. And that was the main issue with a lot of people on the right. They called him a secret Muslim, a king. They even called him the Antichrist. They likened him and his wife to chimps, created targets with his face on it so they could, of course, shoot them, while, of course, taping it and allowing other people who feel the same way to pleasure themselves to that video. You want to talk about vicious? There's more. There is so much more. You want to talk about civility, much less the things that were actually said about Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton is somebody that I've criticized heavily on this show. I've been incredibly tough on her when it comes to policy, when it comes to how she doesn't seem to be like a regular human being, doesn't seem to talk like it. It doesn't seem to care about average working people. She's incredibly untrustworthy. And as tough as I've been on her, the right wing has been incredibly vile to her. These are the same people that talk about civility. You know what this is? This is concern trolling, and you guys can take it elsewhere. Get it out of here. We're done being civil. Okay? And even so, saying that, us at our worst, most uncivil, are still more respectful than the fringe right has ever been towards the rest of us. Nonetheless, we're done playing patty cakes, man. While the other side, who defends white nationalists and corporate interests, literally punches us in the face. Whether it be right-wing hacks like Kellyanne Conway or white nationalists like Stephen Miller or centrist Democrats like Chuck Schumer, we're not going to be nice anymore when people don't work for us and don't work for our interests. You want resistance? That's how you resist. With nonviolence, but calling out the terrible people in the administration. So, on that front, we're done with you. We're going to shame you, and then we're going to vote you out. That's how you have a resistance. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.